This is everything you missed from every single game of this year's NFL preseason. This video is a compilation of my previous 3 recaps plus the Hall of Fame game. If you enjoyed this series and wanted to continue in the regular season, make sure to subscribe and like the video. Anyways, the 2022 preseason kicks off with the Jacksonville Jaguars going up against the Las Vegas Raiders in the Pro Football Hall of Fame game of this year. The first score of the day comes in this 32-yard field goal from David Carlson, and the first touchdown is scored by Amir Abdullah on this 8-yard run early in the second quarter. The Raiders dominated this game, but the Jaguars were able to score at least one touchdown with just about 3 minutes left to go in the game. Anyways, week 1 of the preseason started with the Giants visiting the Patriots. Other than this great special teams play, there was nothing amazing about this game. However, Bailey Zappe did throw a 20-yard touchdown, and yeah, that's pretty much it for this game. The Ravens vs Titans game had Malik Willis' first career touchdown, which was a very good scramble. And then we had a very good touchdown pass to Shamar Bridge for the Baltimore Ravens. Moving on to Friday, we started off with one of the best preseason games I've ever witnessed. The Falcons and Lions fought till the last second in a game where we saw Desmond Ridder's first 2 career touchdowns and yet another choking finish for the Detroit Lions, who fumbled the ball with a chance to ice the game, winning by 3. On to the next game, we had Deshaun Watson's return, and well, he didn't do anything special. And apart from yet another bad Jaguars game, we got to see this incredible 74-yard pick 6, courtesy of Martin Emerson Jr. Moving on to Cardinals vs Bengals, Evan McPherson was the topic of the day, having 2 field goals from over 50 yards. The Cardinals had multiple 1-yard touchdowns, proving to be solid at pounding the rock, and the Bengals ended the game with a 25-yard touchdown from Drew Plitt. The Jets vs Eagles game actually had some regular season implications because Zach Wilson got injured and he's set to miss the first couple of weeks. Dallas Goedert had a 22-yard pass from Jalen Hurts, and overall both teams moved the ball well. And speaking of Jalen Hurts, he got hit hard when going out of bounds on this play. Yeah, if I was his head coach, I would also be very mad. Then we have the NFC Championship preseason rematch. Things started hot with Jordan Love launching a 33-yard pass to give the Packers an early lead. However, Trey Lance had other ideas and threw a 76-yard touchdown right away to give the Niners the lead. Ray McLeod got another long touchdown for the Niners, this time the pass coming from Nate Sudfeld. But wait, it doesn't end there. Jordan Love had yet another 33-yard touchdown to Danny Davis. This was quite the game. Moving on, we have the Chiefs going up against the Bears. Mahomes played a little bit and delivered us a touchdown. And on the next quarter, Shane Buechele delivered us another one. But what stood out the most was Justin Reed kicking the extra field goal for the Chiefs on that second one. Oh, and Trevor Siemian had a couple of touchdowns as well for the Bears, and that's pretty much it. The Panthers vs Commanders game featured one of the worst quarterback battles I've ever seen. Darnold had 1 touchdown to Higgins, and Mayfield did nothing at all. Carson Wentz was able to play quite good, but he wasn't able to score a touchdown, unlike Sam Howell on this play. Then we got a pretty good game between the Colts and the Bills. There were a lot of turnovers. A lot. First, we gotta start off with this Case Keenum interception, but then another Bills turnover, but this time it's a fumble. But wait, 1 fumble isn't enough, right? How about another one, this time as a strip sack? But hey, the Colts also want a piece of the cake, don't they? There goes a 69-yard scoop and score, and the very next drive, there goes an interception at midfield. And just as you thought it was over, there goes Case Keenum with another INT. Both teams were trying really hard not to win this game, but the Colts ultimately were able to fall to the Bills. Oh, and in the middle of all that, rookie Matt Araiza hit a astonishing punt, going for over 80 yards. Let's move on to the Steelers vs Seahawks. The quarterback battle in Pittsburgh is heating up, with all 3 quarterbacks scoring a touchdown and Kenny Pickett being arguably the biggest winner of them all. DJ Dallas looked great for the Seahawks as he scored a flashy 17-yard touchdown late in the game. However, Kenny Pickett stole the show, orchestrating a game-winning drive minutes after that, ending with this beautiful play by Tyler Vaughns. Now let's move on to the Bay, where we have Miami vs Tampa. Blaine Gabbert had the first touchdown of the game with a 23-yard pass to Jalen Darden, but the Dolphins then turned the tables with a 32-yard scoop and score late in the second quarter. Kyle Trask also had a touchdown in the middle of the third quarter, but the Dolphins would go on to win anyway. Now let's go to Houston with the Texans hosting the Saints. Apart from Jeff Driscoll having 3 interceptions, this game was quite boring, and if you didn't watch it, you didn't miss anything, to be fair. So So yeah, let's move on. It's now the Cowboys versus the Broncos, where the biggest highlight of this game was this 20-yard pass from Josh Johnson. Oh, and actually, we also had this perfect punt down at the 1. And well, to end the game, Ben DiNucci delivered a 12-yard touchdown on this play. For the Rams versus Chargers game, we gotta start with this play. Like, dude, you're getting paid to tackle the opposite player, not your teammate. The Chargers also had their long touchdown in this connection of Daniels with Reed. And to finish off the week, we got the Vikings versus the Raiders. The first touchdown was courtesy of Jarrett Stidham, who is showing off those legs in the preseason. DJ Turner also had a great touchdown, but the quarterback this time was Nick Mullins. Kellen Mond scored his first career touchdown, and he also had this pretty 20-yard touchdown pass. So that's week 1 done. Let's head into the next one. The second week of the preseason begins in Seattle. The Bears dominated the entire first half and eventually sealed it up with this beautiful special teams touchdown with 20 seconds left in the second quarter. The game was never close, but Darwin Thompson was able to get a touchdown for the Seahawks late in the fourth quarter. They went for 2 and Jacob Eason successfully scored it, getting the Seahawks to 11 total points to end the game. Then we got the Panthers visiting the Patriots. Ty Hayes scored a 50-yard pick 6 for the Panthers to kinda kickstart this game, getting it tied at 10. This was still a very defensive game though, with not a lot of points, but New England ultimately got to kill Carolina by scoring this touchdown late in the fourth quarter. And big news from this game, Matt Corral suffered an injury and he's most likely out for the season. Then we get the Packers facing off against the Saints. Will Lutz showed off his leg in this 59-yard field goal to end the first quarter, but he wasn't the only New Orleans player to stand out. Chris Olave had a 20-yard touchdown thanks to this beautiful pass by Ian Book. And to finish off the game, the Packers scored their second touchdown of the day on this 50-yard carry by Danny Etling. Friday ended with the Texans going against the Rams. Davis Mills scored the first touchdown of the game on this pass to Nico Collins. The Texans then took an 8-point lead, but it would be cut to just 1 after Roger Carter returned his fumble to the end zone, adding 7 points to LA. Trey Ragas also had a touchdown for the Rams on this carry from 7 yards out, and Jeff Driscoll orchestrated a game-winning drive which ended on this 8-yard touchdown pass to Mason Schreck. Saturday began with the Colts going up against the Lions. A couple of field goals were made to start the game until Sam Ehlinger got to score the first touchdown on this 15-yard pass to Mike Strachan. Tom Kennedy got to score a touchdown to end the first half, and then he got a second one to open up the third quarter. The Colts would strike back on this 50-yard play, which tied the game up at 20. And after the Lions scored a go-ahead touchdown, Indianapolis had the chance to win after scoring on this 26-yard play. However, the 2-point conversion failed, leaving the Colts behind by just 1 point. Up next are the Bills against the Broncos. Josh Allen and Gabriel Davis showed they're already in mid-season form on this 28-yard touchdown pass early in the game. The Buffalo Bills had not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 rushing touchdowns from inside the 10-yard line. 2 of those were from Zach Moss and the other 2 were from Duke Johnson. For the Broncos, their biggest highlight was this 1-yard touchdown from Brett Rypien. Oh, and probably this 55-yard field goal as well, made by Brandon McManus in the middle of the third quarter. Moving on, we have the Commanders versus the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes had another good game with 2 touchdown passes, both of them from inside the 10-yard line. Taylor Heineke scored the first Commander touchdown on this 9-yard pass to Cam Sims to close the first half. The rest of the game wasn't really that exciting, and it ended with this 1-yard touchdown carry from Tayon Fleet Davis. Then we have the Buccaneers visiting the Titans. After 2 field goals, we finally got to see the first touchdown of the game late in the second quarter. It was Malik Willis delivering this 6-yard pass to score his first career passing touchdown. To end the game, which was quite boring if I'm being honest, Ryan Succop hit a 52-yard field goal just before the end of the third quarter. Moving on, we have the Vikings against the 49ers. Robbie Goode shined, hitting 2 field goals from over 45 yards in the first half. The Vikings, however, were the first one to score a touchdown on this 3-yard carry by Ty Chandler. But the Niners had the last laugh and went on to get the lead on this 2-yard touchdown pass from Nate Sudfeld. Then we traveled to Jacksonville for the next game. Kenny Pickett scored his second career touchdown, and he's starting to look as the best player in that quarterback battle. Mason Rudolph got off to a bad start, having a safety here due to an intentional grounding penalty. But thanks to that, we got to see Presley Harvin send his ball to space in one of the best punts of the week. CJ Beathard would give the Jaguars a short-lived lead early in the fourth quarter, and unfortunately for the Jaguars, they would end up losing the game by just 1 point because Ryan Santoso missed his 57-yard field goal as time expired. Up next, we have the Raiders visiting Miami. Zamir White opened up the scoreboard with this 2-yard carry in the middle of the first quarter, and well, Las Vegas extended up their lead to 6 thanks to this safety in the middle of the second quarter. Anyways, the Dolphins would score a go-ahead touchdown in the fourth quarter thanks to this 19-yard touchdown pass from Skylar Thompson. However, the Raiders would still go on to win this game, thanks in part to a go-ahead field goal by Daniel Carlson, and mainly thanks to Jason Sanders missing this 46-yard field goal with less than 2 minutes left to go in the game. Last game of Saturday is Cowboys vs Chargers. And will you look at this, Cavonte Turpin shows off the Jets on this 98-yard touchdown kickoff return. The Chargers had literally just scored a field goal just for Turpin to take it all the way on a fantastic special teams play. Easton Stick had an 18-yard touchdown pass to Joshua Palmer to start off the second quarter strong. However, Cavonte Turpin appeared once again, and this time he got an 86-yard punt returned all the way for the touchdown. Like, if I had a nickel every time Turpin returned the ball to the end zone, I have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. Sunday begins with a matchup between the Eagles and the Browns. Boston Scott opened up the scoreboard, getting a 1-yard carry for a touchdown. 4 minutes later, Joshua Dobbs would tie the game up after scoring a 3-yard rushing touchdown. Cleveland took the lead in the middle of the third quarter, but Devon Allen would torch the Browns defense to score a beautiful 55-yard touchdown, and that pass was thrown by Reed Sinnett, getting the Eagles to a 1-point win. Then we have the Bengals facing off against the Giants. Evan McPherson showed off his leg strength on this 50-yard field goal, which was the first score of the game. After the Bengals scoring 3 consecutive times without answer, the Giants finally came to life with Davis Webb's 22-yard touchdown pass to Alex Bateman. The Bengals would take the lead once more, but the same Giants duo scored a second touchdown late in the fourth quarter to give New York the victory, and this game was finally sealed up on this great defensive play by the Giants. And to close out Sunday, we got the Ravens visiting Arizona. Tyler Huntley had the first touchdown of the day on this 8-yard pass to Isaiah Likely. I don't usually include most punts as highlights, but Jordan Stout absolutely nailed this one, pinching the Cardinals at their own 3-yard line. The Ravens got their third touchdown of the day on this amazing play by Anthony Brown and Riley Webb, which went for 38 yards just before the end of the third quarter. The Cardinals attempted a late comeback, with their second touchdown of the day coming up on this play, courtesy of Jared Guarantano. However, Arizona still lost, and that Ravens preseason win streak stays alive. And moving on to Monday, we have the Falcons going up against the Jets. The Falcons started out hot, with their first touchdown being this 13-yard pass by Marcus Mariota. The Jets would come to life in the second half, with the comeback starting to take life with this 34-yard touchdown pass. New York would take an 8-point lead in the middle of the fourth quarter thanks to this 30-yard fumble returned all the way to the end zone. The Falcons couldn't get the score later in the game, and just as in the Super Bowl, they choked out of an easy win. Well, that was a wild week, wasn't it? The last week of this year's preseason begins in Kansas. The first touchdown of the week came at the beginning of the second quarter on this 24-yard carry by Tyler Goodson. The Chiefs quickly got the lead back thanks to a great play by Shane Buechele and Matt Bushman, who scored a 54-yard touchdown just 4 minutes after the Packers had taken a 3-7 lead. Then we have the Texans hosting the 49ers. Houston turned their first drive into a touchdown as Damon Pierce took the ball into the end zone in 1st and goal. Both teams exchanged interceptions in the second quarter, and there were no more scores in that first half. However, Davis Mills managed to get another touchdown for Houston on the 16-yard pass to Chris Moore. Friday begins with the Bills visiting the Panthers. To start off the game, quarterback Matt Barkley punted for the Bills on their first drive. This is thanks to Matt Araiza's legal situation, which I explained on this video if you want to check it out. Anyways, Baker Mayfield got the first touchdown of the game on this pass to Donta Foreman, and then he got a second one early in the second quarter, this time to Shi Smith to give the Panthers a 14-point lead, which would eventually turn into a 21-point shutout. Up next, we have the Seahawks visiting the Cowboys. Drew Lock made sure the Seahawks got off to a good start, getting a touchdown pass to Penny Hart with a few minutes left in the first quarter. The Cowboys slowly but surely came back from that 10-point deficit and managed to tie the game up on this Brandon Smith touchdown reception. Seattle got a 6-point lead, but Ben DiNucci got Dallas up by 1 as he scored a 14-yard touchdown with just over 4 minutes to go in the game. Jacob Eason got his shot at a game-winning drive but fumbled it away with less than 90 seconds left in the fourth quarter. The Seahawks then got yet another chance to win this game, but Jacob Eason made sure that didn't happen, throwing an interception with no timeouts left. Now we get the Saints hosting the Chargers. Mark Ingram made his presence be known early in the game as he scored 2 rushing touchdowns from inside the 3-yard line to get the Saints to a 14-0 lead. The Chargers got up to 10 points, but after a fumble, the Saints extended their lead back to 14 thanks to this 9-yard touchdown pass by Ian Book. And the last game of Friday was Patriots vs Raiders. Samir White got the first touchdown of the game on this 4-yard play. The Patriots got their only points of the game in these 2 field goals by Nick Folk, one being from 35 yards out and the other one being a 22-yarder. Las Vegas dominated the rest of the game and sealed their undefeated preseason with this 3-yard touchdown run by Braden Brown. down. Moving on, we have the Falcons hosting the Jaguars. The first half was kinda boring until we saw the 7-yard touchdown pass from EJ Perry to get the Jaguars within a field goal as the second quarter was about to end. However, the Jaguars never got the lead back after that as the Falcons kept them at bay and finally sealed the win on this 4-yard touchdown run. Then we got a preseason Super Bowl rematch. Ethan McPherson shined once again, having 3 field goals made in the first half, all of them from more than 35 yards. The Rams got their first and only touchdown of the game on this 3-yard run by Bryce Perkins, but they lost anyway. The Commanders then visited the Ravens. The first touchdown of this game came with just over 14 minutes in the second quarter, and it was a beautiful play by DeMarcus Robinson, who got the ball 67 yards into the end zone in a 2-play drive. The Ravens then took a 17-6 lead to start the fourth quarter, but Washington got the chance at tying the game up thanks to this 13-yard touchdown pass by Sam Howell. But unfortunately for Washington, the 2-point conversion failed, leaving the Commanders down by 2 to end the game. Moving on, we have the Dolphins hosting the Eagles. Tyreek Hill showed off the Jets on the very first play from scrimmage, getting the ball deep down the field. That play sets up the Dolphins to get the first score of the game on this 8-yard pass from Tua Tagovailoa. Miami gets up to a 17-0 lead and then got their third touchdown of the day on this 30-yard pick 6 by Elijah Campbell, and that was with just over 5 minutes left to go in the first half. The Dolphins kept pounding on the scoreboard until they got to 41, but the Eagles were at least able to score a touchdown on this 67-yard run by Jason Huntley in the middle of the fourth quarter. Philly was already dead, but the Dolphins still wanted more, and they scored yet another touchdown on this 39-yard pass from Skylar Thompson, who actually performed quite well this preseason. Moving on, we have the Bears going up against the Browns. Justin Fields opened up the scoreboard, getting a 22-yard touchdown pass to Ryan Griffin with just over 6 minutes left to go in the first quarter. That would be just the beginning, since Fields got a second touchdown at the beginning of the second quarter on this pass to Dante Pettis. And just 10 minutes later, he got the hat-trick on this 24-yard touchdown pass to Cole Kmet, getting the Bears up by 21. Cleveland slowly came back into the game and got the chance to win thanks to this 1-yard touchdown by Josh Rosen. However, the Browns went home empty-handed as the 2-point conversion to get the lead failed. Next up, we got the Cardinals visiting the Titans. Both teams exchanged scores, and Treylon Burks got his first career touchdown on display by Malik Willis late in the first half. Jared Guarantano would give Arizona a 1-point lead after scoring a 2-yard touchdown pass, but the Titans managed to get the ball into the end zone one last time to get a 3-point lead with less than a minute remaining in the game. Then we have the Colts against the Buccaneers. Tampa Bay got their first touchdown of the game on this 1-yard carry early in the second quarter, and Indianapolis answered with this 2-yard touchdown run by Philip Lindsay about 8 minutes later. Sam Ehlinger opened up the second half with an electric 45-yard touchdown run to get the Colts up by 11. And that was the last touchdown of this game, which the Colts went on to win by 3 scores. And to close out Saturday, we have the Broncos versus the Vikings. Minnesota scored the first touchdown of the game on a 1-yard run by Brian Kabak, but the Broncos got the lead right back thanks to Montreal Washington scoring a touchdown from 11 yards out. And just as we thought Minnesota was going to attempt a 2-minute drive, Denver gets another 7 points thanks to this scoop and score late in the first half. The Vikings never got the lead back after that, but at least they managed to score a 58-yard field goal to start the fourth quarter. Anyway, Sunday begins with the battle for New York. The first touchdown of the day comes in the second quarter in the form of a Giants pick 6, courtesy of Austin Calitro. The Jets, however, got 2 unanswered touchdowns right after that as Mike White led them to a 17-10 lead going into halftime. Davis Webb got an 18-yard touchdown pass to Austin Allen to give the Giants the lead, but Denzel Mims made sure the Jets kept up with the pace as he scored a 29-yard touchdown with just over 7 minutes left in the game. The Giants got a field goal and the Jets got their chance at tying the game in 4th down, but instead they went for the touchdown and got it, getting the victory over the Giants to get an undefeated preseason. And finally, we got the Steelers hosting the Lions. Pittsburgh had trouble moving the ball early but managed to score 3 field goals to start the game. Mitch Trubisky finally got a touchdown for the Steelers on the 6-yard pass to Steven Sims. Deontay Johnson and TJ Watt left the game with injuries, but it doesn't seem like anything concerning. Anyways, David Blau managed to give the Lions a touchdown late in the fourth quarter to get a final score of 9-19. So, onto the regular season we go. Make sure to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more of these weekly recaps. Anyways, thanks for watching and see you next time.